rather a rookie that ball out. You really see him
Do that too, but don't worry about it.
He produced more this year.
He's hurt, Ace.
What's your best ability?
Availability.
Go ahead, host.
Yeah, Justin, you don't have to worry about those kind of things. You got 35 wins. Joe, you don't have to worry about that because you have 0 wins this season. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We'll see you later this week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 4 of the Indecision Cave Show. I'm your host, Ryan Grace, and I'm joined by my teammates, Joseph Hall, our commissioner, Ashton Jones, and like we say every week, the all-time winner in regular season victories, Justin Coleman. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, and we're going to get right into it, guys. We're all having heated matchups this week. Justin, take us through what happens in week 3 of your matchup.
All right, so I felt like I was confident when I set my lineup against Rashawn Rax, but then Sunday comes. Well, first Thursday, so he has James Robinson, clutch pickup. I do give him credit for that, who goes off for 30 points. So I'm down 30-0 going into Sunday, but I'm still like, all right, I got this, I think. And then the early set of games goes on, and both of my starting receivers end up, well, my first starting receiver goes out for the game.
Who's that?
And so that was not damn, who was that?
Adam Humphries?
No, Humphrey stayed in.
Deontay Johnson, Steelers.
Yep, Deontay Johnson goes out for the concussion. So waiting on his status. So he gave me 0.9.
Yikes.
And then Larry Fitzgerald gave me 1 point.
Okay, so your starting wide receivers, your number 1 and 2 give you 1.9 points.
Right.
Yep.
So, but I was saved Sunday night by Alvin Kamara. So I go into this matchup today down by 40 points. But I do have Patrick Mahomes and Mark Ingram. So we shall see what happens.
Yo, DK also did you dirty because you would have had at least 2 touchdowns from homeboy, and you'd have been good money. He also did me dirty because I would have then had another touchdown by Russell Wilson, and I'd have probably still lost. But
It's all right, though. So we're going to see what happens. But it's a close matchup, so.
Yeah, so you headed into Monday night down by about 40 points, and you got Mahomes, you got Big Trust going,
Big
so
trust.
you definitely have a fighting chance.
Question for you, Justin. I was surprised, but you were right. We're starting the 49ers defense, even though they didn't have their top 2 pass rushers, and without Richard Sherman. What gave you confidence to start them anyway?
They were playing the Giants.
There you go.
So if there's any New York team that you playing against, start that defense. Trust me.
Heard you.
Got you.
Ashton, we're going to come to you now. I mean, because DK did him dirty. DK also did you dirty, like you said. Russell Wilson and the boys. How'd you make out in week 3?
y'all lost, man, and I scored the second most points this week. So it's tragic that the first highest scoring team this week was my opponent. Russell Wilson did me amazing. Russell Wilson continues to just make me cry every week of just jubilation. I was like, that boy just puts up 1 point. Had 5 TDs, could have been 6. Could have gave me to that 40. Could have got me to that 40 spot. Would have still lost anyways. Melvin Gordon and Russell Gage, man, they did me in one. Melvin Gordon gave me 7.8 points. I thought he would have tried to do something against the Buccaneers, but people forget that the Buccaneers front 7 is really good. So I should have put that into consideration. And Russell Gage went out with a concussion in the second quarter. So, I mean, he had Alan Lazard and Austin Eckler, and they just went off. And, I mean, of course, he has D-Hop. D-Hop's going to go off. Dak Prescott, I mean, he played well, but threw 2 picks. So, I mean, he kind of like, I don't know, man. Alan Lazard really just hurt my feelings. That's what really happened. Alan Lazard hurt my feelings.
Lazard balled out, and as you guys know, the Green Bay Packers got the W due in large part to the way that he performed, replacing Devontae Adams. So, we're grateful for that. Joe, you can roll your eyes. I'm not sure if you want to talk about your team's results.
Stop.
Okay.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah, we the only team that didn't lose in our division, so we good.
Did you guys win in your division?
We didn't lose.
Ace, leave it alone, man. We trash.
We
we
didn't,
trash.
we didn't lose though. You gotta hold
Congrats
on
on
to
the
something.
tie to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe,
Yes.
we're coming to you, man. How'd week 3 go for you, man? Because we know if things don't go your way, we're gonna have to talk, brother.
Yeah, I'm in a rough spot right now, emotionally speaking. So I'm in a situation where I need Lamar Jackson to score on this Monday night game 40 points to come back for me. Mainly because my friend Chris Hogan, who caught 6 receptions and 75 yards last week with a little bit healthier wide receiver core, when more wide receivers got hurt this week, he decided not to catch any balls at all. Pause. So that really hurt me to get a straight 0 on somebody who played the entire game. That hurt. Also, I think I would have had more of a fighting chance had I kept the defense I had last week with the Browns. And the Browns faced the Redskins, and they got 13 fantasy points. I thank you for the correction. The Washington football team. And the Chargers. You gonna blame me? Talk to me.
Yeah, because Mo picked up the Browns, and guess what they did? 13 points.
Exactly. And I thought the Carolina Panthers, without CMC, without the heart and soul of their entire offense, would struggle. But no, they scored 21 points. And then Jared Cook got injured last night with the ankle. And of course, the waiver wire pickup that I spent 80% of my free agency budget on Mike Davis, the CMC backup, scored 23 points. Well, of course, if CMC is out, 6 weeks, I just wasted one of those. So now I have him for 5 more. 5 more good weeks. I'm over here struggling because my team is hurting. I'm looking at an 0-3, man. It's hurting out here.
Yeah, Joe. If you start off 0-3, man, we're gonna have to have some discussions, because at some point in the near future, you're gonna have to either make a big blockbuster trade. You're gonna have to maybe look forward to next year's draft. Like, we don't know, man. We're gonna have some strong discussions at 0-3. Facing a strong New Bedford Whalers team this week, brother.
Oh, you know what? What also hurts is my good friend Mo. I thought that we were going to start some trade discussions, and he just played me for a joke. He said anyone on his team is available to trade for Michael Thomas, number 1 wide receiver the past 2 years. I said, okay, let me look at his team. Of course, he had D-Hop, who's playing exceptionally well. I said, okay, D-Hop. And he said, sure. And then shortly after, he said, no, you just played yourself. There ain't no chance I'm doing that. And then shared it in the group chat. So now my trust within the Indecision Cave is pretty low. So I don't even know if I can trust anyone to do any trades. I can't trust my friend Mo.
And I exposed the DM.
Well,
Yeah. Yo, I mean, also, you lost Chris Carson for 2 weeks, so you got to figure out something fast, bro.
Yeah.
You about to start Naheem Hines? You trust that?
I might have to. Beggars can't be choosers. I refuse to make a trade just so I can be average for the rest of the year. I'd rather hurt and limp at the hope of turning around the rest of the season than truly degrade my team and know I have no chance in the playoffs.
Hey, man, I'm not saying you degrade your team, but you got to make some trade, and that's probably either getting rid of Robert Woods, Scary Terry.
Are you making an offer, Ace?
I honestly don't have anything good enough.
Right, exactly, and that's everyone. That's everyone's sentiment, Ace. Everyone says that. Everyone is good.
I was talking to my cousin earlier, and I was looking out there. I was like, maybe reach out to Joe, try to get someone. for maybe Daryl Henderson. I don't know.
Daryl Henderson. Who recommended that people get him off the waiver wire?
That would be you,
That's 2 in a row, people.
Mr. Host.
That's 2 in a row, people.
That you didn't make a claim on? Is that what you're trying to say?
Guys, I know.
Let's move on. Ryan,
I know how this league works. You're not gonna do this.
how's your week going?
Well, before we get to that, no, because you're not going to do this. Joe just said that he spent 80% of his waiver balance. And ladies and gentlemen, our balance is $100. So if running backs that are only around for 6 weeks are going for $80, I have no business talking to Daryl Henderson. So I'm not spending that kind of money on these guys. What I do spend money on, guys like Mike Gesicki, spend a nice $39 on him and get a tight end.
How did he do?
He got 8.5 points. He caught a touchdown. He had 2 more targets that he dropped 2 passes, and then he had 1 that was a pass interference. So he could have put up better numbers, and that would have been fine. But what it comes down to, an 8.5 is whatever. But when you realize what I've had production-wise out of tight ends in recent memory, I will take 8.5 points every single week. I mean, last year I had Travis Kelce, which was nice. But 2 years ago I have Evan Ingram. First game of the season, guy balls out, then gets injured, and I'm putting up Jonnu Smith before he's good, scoring 2.1 points. CJ Uzoma putting up 1.2 points. And then I'm losing these games by 4 points, right? Like, these losing records are caused very, very tight matches. But anyway, I digress. Thank you to Mike Gesicki. And this week's matchup, I mean, guys, I'm fighting for my life right now. I'm down by 20 points. But heading into the Monday Night Football matchup, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire and I have Marquise Brown, who, they're projected to score about 28, 30 points, which would get me the W. So hopefully at some point those guys go off and I can walk away with the victory and be 2-1 heading into a big matchup against Joe Hall. My best play this week was that I went to the waiver wire, spent a few dollars, and I came back with the Buccaneers defense facing the Broncos offense. Ashton, Melvin Gordon, I'm sorry. They did work against the Broncos, put up 19 fantasy points. And I'm hoping that with some production out of my starting running back and one of my receivers that I can walk away with a victory. So, guys, we had the matchup of the week. Last week, we had John and we had Antoine on our show. Joe, talk to us about it, man.
So right now, the projections are 3 points away from each other. 136 for Banks, 133 for Deli. Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens. He needs to add 8 more points for Banks to win. And I would be the only host on this show so far to have picked him and would start 1-0 with our first match of the week votes. Now, our friend Ace here was saying that, well, we didn't have the luxury of knowing about Julio Jones getting hurt, or not playing, rather. But I knew I had a suspicion that he would either struggle, just like I said about Devontae Adams, or not play at all. And that was a big factor. Now, what's interesting is another thing that I factored into the decision was I didn't think Banks would play the Ravens defense, which he didn't. But as we're speaking right now, the Ravens defense has 12 points compared to the Titans, who had 2 points for Banks. So that wound up being a wash and probably didn't factor in. But I think I'm going to start off with the 1-0 matchup of the week record.
Yeah, no, you're the only one with Banks, and if Mark Andrews is Andrews, can Andrews be a word? As long as he Andrews is, then Banks should walk away with victory.
Right.
As long as Mark Andrews, then they should be fine. And so Ashton's gonna start off 0-1. Justin's gonna start off 0-1. Oh,
No. The game not done. He's currently losing. So as we are recording,
fair. But Ace, let me hold on to something, man. I'm looking at 0-3. Come on, let me have something.
Get a man some hope for something. Man.
Come on.
Throw in my bones.
And producer, make sure you show that realm if John does win when I say he has Deion Lewis in his flex, and that scares me. I'll rewind that, show that clip, because Deion Lewis had a solid 2 points, 0 rushing yards.
Yeah. Good
Who
call.
knew?
That's facts. And so, ladies and gentlemen, one of our favorite segments is to have some of our league mates in on Wednesdays to talk about their matchups and what they like about their team, what they like about their opponents. So we will have 2 more league mates on Wednesday, or it might just be Joe and me, because Joe could be looking at 0-4. We'll see. When we come back from this commercial break, we'll give you our waiver wire pickups, which, as the guys know, I'm 2-0. We won't keep score on that because I don't want to run away with it. I'm a fair guy. When we come back, we're all going to discuss waiver wires on the Indecision Cave. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Week 4 edition of the Indecision Cave. We're here for our favorite time of this episode where we discuss our waiver wire picks. And so, Ashton, we're going to come to you first, Commissioner Jones, out of respect for the title. Who are you looking at on the waiver wire this week?
Hey, man, I'm looking at grabbing a rookie that balled out. We didn't really see him get any catches. We saw Kirk Cousins really not want to throw the ball to anybody outside of Adam Thielen. But this man secured 9 targets, 7 receptions for 175 yards and a touchdown. You got to go and find your boy some Justin Jefferson and make sure that you have him on your team, or if he's available, you put in as much credit as you can to get him. Because Adam Thielen's going to get double coverage all year. That's the guy that you're kind of looking at to taking that role of Stephon Diggs, kind of filling that void at receiver. That boy looked real.
Yeah, no, he's the real deal. I know as a Packers fan, that was someone who people thought we were going to be able to take, and when Jordan loved that whole thing. But Justin Jefferson's the real deal. I think one thing is that he loves to operate out of the slot, and so that's a quarterback's best friend. And so if Thielen's double covered, or even as the number 2 option, I don't even know who the number 2 really is in Minnesota. So once Jefferson kind of gets acclimated to the NFL game, he's going to be trouble. Justin, I know
Something about those Justins, man.
I know you're Justin, you got some love for LSU, so I know you watch a lot of Justin Jefferson. You have anything to add on him?
Hey, man, he ain't no fluke. You're going to see a lot more of him this season if Kirk Cousins is smart.
There you go. Well,
we'll hoping to see him in Philadelphia, but we decided to pick Jalen Rager.
Don't do that, man.
I was so hyped. I'm like, yo, we about to pick Justin Jefferson.
It's too early, Ace, and we already had 2 tight ends. We got 2 tight ends who's getting the middle of the field. We don't really need a slot wide receiver. We need someone to stretch the field.
All right,
he could do that too, but don't worry about it.
Who's produced more this year?
He's hurt, Ace.
What's your best ability?
Availability.
Go ahead, host, Mr. Grace.
Yeah, just availability is the best asset. Joe, you lost that one. You've been on a run of not winning things, so that's cool. Ashton, congratulations. Let's go to Justin. Justin, who is your waiver wire pick of the week, man?
So I'm seeing a lot of availability in leagues for old faithful Jimmy Graham. Now that Trubisky is looking like he's out of the picture finally, the Bears smartened up. Nick Foles got some playing time, and as you saw, and as Eagle fans know, he likes to give his tight end some love. Jimmy Graham is a viable touchdown machine when you use him right, so I would say pick him up. That could be a season-long hold and something beneficial for your team.
There you go. Joe, here's a chance to turn your frown upside down, man. Who you got on your Week 4 waiver wire player to watch?
So this is mainly for deeper leagues. My friend T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Bengals. Now, I would temper your expectations because this week A.J. Green went against a really good corner and Darius Slay from the Eagles. And what I would do personally is I would add him to your bench. And once you see a tough cornerback matchup, because you still got to put your best corner on A.J. Green, that's really going to open up the field for him and Tyler Boyd. He had 9 targets this past week, and he had 2 touchdowns, so he's getting targeted in the red zone. He was the 33rd overall pick in the draft, so obviously he has some good history and a good profile behind him. So T. Higgins for me.
There you go. Perfect. And I'm a fan of T. Higgins. I think Joe Burrow showed us that he can get the ball around. He has no problem sharing the ball.
He's the real deal too.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is the real deal. I mean, he got injured, came back and played even better than he had before the injury. You know, one thing that made Justin Jefferson so effective, and we're seeing it right now, is that Joe Burrow loves his slot receivers also. And that's why Tyler Boyd's getting a lot of love. But like you said, as number one corners are on A.J. Green and they need another like X or deep threat, T. Higgins is definitely someone to keep on your radar. So great advice. Hopefully it works out for you, man, because right now your team isn't doing it. So hopefully your analysis will, help you feel a little bit better, brother.
Keep pouring it on.
No,
Let's go. And we got a matchup next week, so that'd be even more fun.
Yeah. Hopefully I can pull this matchup out this week and then see you at 0-3 next week. So my pick for this week is Jeff Wilson. And the reason that I'm leaning towards Jeff Wilson is like Ashton said last week, Jerick McKinnon is going to get a lot of the touches. He's going to be the one, if anyone, for the 49ers kind of has the big breakout game from the yardage standpoint. But when they get into the goal line situations, Jeff Wilson is going to get all of the carries. And that's what happened yesterday. I mean, he had 12 rushes, but only 15 yards. But he was able to turn one of those into a touchdown. And then he also had a receiving touchdown. So he's used in the passing game. I mean, that's Shanahan's offense, right? To get everyone involved. They don't have – I mean, Ayuk played very, very well. But with George Kittle out, with them trying to figure out their receiving core, they're going to use their running backs in the passing game. Jeff Wilson was the beneficiary of that. I know he's going to be available in a lot of leagues. And so he's someone who's going to steal carries like a Mike Tolbert used to do, like Latavius Murray is doing right now with the Saints, like we see with Williams out in Green Bay. These are backs that are going to be splitting carries, so he's going to get the love. He's going to get all the goal line carries. He's going to be used in the passing game. So I'm leaning towards Jeff Wilson.
So your waiver wire pick would be someone that would be a third string once Raheem Mostert comes back. And I mean, also you can say Jeff Wilson would be like Jeff Wilson of last year, where he was just always still just fancy relevant. So to add to your point.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I give you guys this fantasy advice, I'm not trying. It's going to be tough to find someone who's going to be a fantasy winner off the waiver wires, especially in our league where we draft so deep. There's no running backs ever available. Like I wanted to say Carlos Hyde, but I didn't want to scum our fans. He's not even available in our league, and Justin has him, right? Like every time there's a running back available, or you think they're available, they're not in the indecision cave, right? Like just Jeff Wilson, I'm seeing is 14% owned across fantasy football leagues. But if you come to our league, he's definitely
What's the deal with our league? Is our bench deeper than the standard league, or
no?
We have extra flex.
Yeah, in our
extra
league,
flex. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we don't have a kicker. We don't have kickers, and so we
Shout
add
out to Kickers Lives Matter.
Shout out to Kickers Lives Matter. I think they're down in their matchup this week. That's fire. So it's 12 extra starters that are flex players, and so then on your bench, it's like you don't need to draft all the wide receivers because wide receivers, flash in the pan kind of thing. Everybody throws the ball. You need running backs. In our league, like we saw, I mean, in the first 3 rounds, I think there were like 12 running backs taken, more than that, right? Like we go pretty crazy as a league for running backs. So Jeff Wilson, he's going to get you through a few games until Mostert comes back, and he's still going to get some goal line carries. So I'm all in on Jeff Wilson for the foreseeable future. I don't know if he's going to win you a league, Ashton.
Oh no, I ain't picking him up. Jerick McKinnon got hurt towards the end of the game, so that's why we saw him get a little bit more looks and the receiving touchdown towards the end of the game.
San Fran just got the injury bug, man. It's bad.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll take the 21.9 fantasy points on my bench this week, and hopefully he produces at a similar level because the Whalers need it. Fellas, great episode today. I always appreciate your insight. You guys are geniuses. We will be back later in the week where we'll have two of our teammates come on, or two of our league mates come on to discuss their matchups. Thank you for joining us.
Wait, hold on. Can you just do me a favor and stop having me on matchup for the weeks? It's been 3 weeks in a row. Let my team get a break. We're done.
Well,
no more.
Well, the
Same
people,
thing every year.
the league needs to. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
go
you
ahead.
keep spamming my team. You keep spamming my team on matchup for the weeks. Let us be. And you got it wrong. I already got my 31st win, or 60, or whatever my milestone is. I already got it. So let me get my congratulatory blog, my congratulatory post, and leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Nah, because for me, it's the opposite. I have to prove that I'm primetime worthy for Ryan to put me in as matchup of the week. So I'm gonna probably get there like week 5. I respect it though, but by that time I might be 4-1. So I understand.
Yeah. So the matchups of the week, man. You know, I put out a little blog post within the league every week about some matchups to watch, and I try to highlight when people are about to reach a certain milestone. And Ashton's trying to correct me here, but the records show that he has 34 career regular season victories. So the people want to know when you're going to get to number 35. So until you knock down that wall, bro, we got to keep watching you, because you'd be the second person in the Indecision Cave history to notch 35 wins. That's pretty big. When Justin got it, we were cheering.
That happened week 1. I got my win week 1.
It did.
Yeah, I got my 35th week 1.
I might be wrong, but the record.
You are wrong.
Mr. Statistician.
I'm going to go through and look again, and you might be at 35, and then you won't be included. But if you're at 34, you will be on the matchup to watch next week. No doubt about it. There you go. Justin, you don't have to worry about those kind of things because you got 35 wins. Joe, you don't have to worry about that because you have 0 wins this season. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. See you later this week in the Indecision Cave.